Ingrezza. Learn how you could pay as little as $0 at Ingrezza.com.
Our exclusive NewsNation town hall with Republican presidential candidate and former Vice President Mike Pence telling voters why he should be elected.
The former president and frankly others in this field are walking away from many of those principles where we stood strong on the world stage.
Hear what else he had to say on everything from conservative values to America's border crisis. Miraculously, all smiles after this dramatic save in Tennessee.
Stay with me, Zaire.
A 1-year-old baby losing consciousness, rescued by a quick-thinking officer.
I think I was there for that reason.
What went through his mind and why he says he knew he was not going to give up. And another fight for life, this one in the ring. See our Washington correspondent Kelly Meyer channel her inner Rocky to knock out cancer. Also ahead, some unique treasures. See who and what are making it into the latest edition of the Guinness Book of World Records. You know you want the story behind Tommy, the world's tallest steer. It's Morning in America.
I'm not sure which has me most impressed, Tommy, that steer, or Kelly.
I'm like, Tommy, what's she
Whoa,
eating?
my goodness.
I cannot wait to get to Kelly Meyer. She has been training for this fight for so long. So we're going to chat to her.
Absolutely.
With
From
her
our
later
NewsNation headquarters in the Heartland, it's time for News for All America. I'm Nick Smith.
And I'm Markie Martin. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We are following several developing stories this morning. NewsNation hosting former Vice President Mike Pence in our latest exclusive presidential town hall. Mr. Pence taking questions directly from you, the voters, right here in our Chicago studios and also in Iowa. So ahead, his takes on everything from Ukraine to COVID-19, the border crisis, and the looming auto worker strike.
And the U.S. striking prisoner swap deal with Iran. The agreement includes freeing 5 Americans for the release of $6 billion. But some are accusing the White House of paying a ransom. Tom Dempsey is live in Washington with those new details.
Plus, time is running out to keep America's big 3 automakers' assembly lines running. More than 140,000 auto workers nationwide could hit the picket lines as soon as midnight. Kelsey Kernstein is live in the Motor City with the new announcement. The union is calling a slap in the face. Those stories and more still ahead, but first, got to get to this.
Absolutely. The father of jailed Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich calling on the United Nations to help bring his son home from Russia. He was jailed on espionage charges during a work trip 8 months ago. The plea comes as world leaders plan to meet next week for the annual General Assembly. Last month, a Moscow court extended Gershkovich's detention to November. In an effort to appeal his detention earlier this summer, it was denied.
For the second time, a federal judge has ruled that DACA, or the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, has ruled it unconstitutional. But he stopped short of ordering it to end. The Obama administration enacted DACA 11 years ago to prevent the deportation of people brought to the United States as children. This comes months after 9 Republican-led states filed a lawsuit alleging the program was unconstitutional. It's likely headed to the Supreme Court.
And testimony is expected to wrap up today in the impeachment trial of Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. And his fate could be decided by the end of this week. The prosecution rested its case on Wednesday, and now the defense will call witnesses. The Republican AG is accused of bribery, obstruction of justice, and conspiracy. Paxton says he has done nothing wrong. If convicted, he would be removed from office.
NASA astronomers may have found signs of life on a planet that's more than 8 times the size of Earth. They say it's unlike anything in our solar system. So the James Webb Telescope discovered it in the constellation Leo. And by the way, Leo is 120 light years away. Try to wrap your mind around that. The telescope found carbon-bearing molecules, including methane, carbon dioxide, meaning it has the potential to hold an atmosphere rich in hydrogen and a water-covered surface.
And that means that life could form,
who
right?
knows?
Exactly.
Yeah, we've been talking about space.
And former Vice President Mike Pence made his pitch to voters Wednesday night as part of a town hall here on NewsNation hosted by our own Leland Vittert.
Yeah, that event featured live studio audiences in Chicago as well as Des Moines, with voters touching on a number of different topics. Mr. Pence tackling issues from education to abortion rights, everything in between. Our Emily Finn was there live in studio. She joins us once again this morning. Emily, give us the highlights from last night.
Well, Markie, there were lots of highlights. It was a big night for NewsNation. And like you said, I did have a chance to be in studio. And I will say one of the defining moments of the night was when Pence said that he believes he is well known as a politician, but is not known well. Voters who participated in the town hall here in Chicago and remotely in Des Moines, Iowa, can now say they know Mr. Pence a little bit better after last night.
I intend to be the Republican nominee for President of the United States.
NewsNation's Leland Vittert moderated a town hall with Republican presidential candidate and former Vice President Mike Pence on NewsNation last night. Pence walking a fine line of distancing himself from former President Trump, who is currently dominating the Republican primary field, while also touting the Trump administration's accomplishments and making his own name for himself on the campaign trail.
I hear the former president and others shying away, saying that we've got problems here at home, as though we can't solve our problems here at home and be the leader of the free world.
A devout Christian, Pence's faith came up in questions about the military reimbursing abortion procedures across state lines and if LGBTQ awareness has a place in education.
It is very hard for me to ask these questions after just hearing what I heard. What is your policy plan to protect the transgender community?
I'm deeply grieved to hear about those tragic circumstances. And I hear your heart. I hope you also hear my heart on this. For me, what adults do in their lives, decisions that they make, including transgender adults, is one thing. But for kids under the age of 18, I mean, there's a reason why we don't let you drive till you're 16. I'm saddened by the experiences that she recounts. Yeah. I really am. I don't think anyone should ever be mistreated or harassed or discriminated against because of who they are or what they believe. I'd like to put my arm around any one of those young people and just say, we love you.
Voters pressed him on his stance on immigration.
Colin, we have the worst crisis at our southern border in American history. And it's a man-made crisis. That man's name is Joe Biden.
And Pence also voiced his support for Ukraine.
If the Ukrainian military doesn't stop and repel that Russian invasion, it's not going to be too long before that Russian army crosses a border that our men and women in uniform are going to have to go and fight under our NATO treaty.
But with 5% support among Republican Party voters, according to Real Clear Politics, it's an uphill battle for Pence to secure the nomination.
How does it make you feel that a novice like Vivek Ramaswamy is challenging you in many cases ahead of you in regional and national polls?
But despite single-digit support with just 4 months until the Iowa caucus, Pence says he believes he's the only Republican presidential candidate who has consistently upheld conservative values.
I believe in a strong national defense, American leadership in the world. I believe in limited government, fiscal responsibility, and balanced budgets. I believe in the right to life and traditional moral values.
And something I noticed at the event that I think is important to mention, before the town hall began, our Leland Vittert asked the audience to raise their hands if they are undecided on who they plan to support in the Republican primary. A solid majority were. And when asked the same question at the end of the town hall, a similar amount agreed that they would consider supporting Pence. So safe to say it was a very productive night, Nick and Markie.
Another example of how sometimes, Emily, when they hear from the candidate directly, it can help to influence their opinion.
Absolutely. I think the voters last night definitely had a chance to ask their questions directly to Pence, all of their burning questions, and he had a chance to answer them.
Emily Finn, thank you so much.
And later on this morning, Texas Republican Senator Ted Cruz will join us with his take on the 2024 race for the White House. So we're looking forward to that interview. Well, lawmakers in the Senate, they're at odds. For months now, Senator Tommy Tuberville has been holding up the president's top military nominations. The Alabama Republican says he will keep up the blockade until the Pentagon walks back its updated abortion policies. Now, Republican lawmakers are encouraging Majority Leader Chuck Schumer to bring those nominations to a floor vote. Joining us now is Bob Cusack, editor-in-chief of The Hill. Bob, it's good to see you again. I've been asking this since the beginning. I asked it to Senator Coons, last week. If Democrats are able to push some of these nominations through individually, then why not start? And I feel like Americans want a lot better answer than just it takes time, because everything in Congress takes time. Bob, what responsibility do Dems have to take at least some of the top nominations to a floor vote?
Well, that's what Republicans are saying, is that you can move these individually, despite the controversy with Senator Tuberville. But, things do move very slowly in the Senate. Basically, the Senate can only do one thing at a time per week, with exceptions here and there. So you would take an enormous amount of floor time, and that's very valuable, especially when you have a government shutdown that's possibly looming. Appropriation bills are moving on the floor. And also, listen, this is becoming an election issue. I know it came up last night in the town hall with former Vice President Mike Pence, who backed Tuberville. So this is something where Republicans who are not happy with Tuberville generally, they want him to back down. Certainly Mitch McConnell and leadership want him to back down. But he's not going to, and he's not in any electoral, he's not up for election for down maybe, I think, 4 years from now. So it's not hurting him back home. This is a real problem for the Pentagon, and there's no real compromise that I see happening anytime soon.
And outside of waiting and individually pushing the nominees through, do Democrats have any other route or option to take? Or is it either that or Tuberville unblocks the blockade, if you will?
Well, Washington is a city of push and pull, and Democrats, I don't think they want to do one at a time, because number one, they make the argument, well, listen, yes, it's important to have the top-ranking people in there, but you also need the people who do the nitty-gritty work, and they are being blocked. So if Democrats did one at a time for maybe the top, whether that's the Joint Chiefs Chairman or the head of the Air Force, well, then that would be viewed as kind of caving a little bit, and they think they have the advantage, but now Republicans are going on offense.
Yeah, and we know that Senator Tuberville has already kept up this blockade for more than 6 months at this point. I know you're saying Republicans don't expect him to relent anytime soon. Would there even be a way, though, for Senator Tuberville to drop his hold without losing face?
I don't think so, unless the Pentagon changes its abortion policy. That's what it's at the focus of this. And that's what Pence said last night to Leland Vittert, said, listen, the Pentagon can change its policy. Then Tuberville would back down, and he would win in that situation. But with abortion politics as they are going to be for probably decades going forward, neither side is budging.
All right. Well, Bob Cusack, thanks so much. We'll continue to follow this one closely. Appreciate your time, sir.
Thanks.
Nick.
Hey, Markie. Meanwhile, the White House is pushing aside accusations of paying a ransom to free 5 American prisoners in Iran. The deal would release $6 billion in frozen Iranian money. Now, the Biden administration says it could only be used for humanitarian needs like medicine. Tom Dempsey has more from the Capitol. Tom, this is one that people are watching closely.
Yeah, that's right. Good morning, Nick. This morning, the 5 Americans that President Joe Biden's team described as being wrongfully detained can finally return home. They are described as a conservationist and a venture capitalist. But this deal to set them free has also raised some big concerns.
This is not a payment of any kind. It's not ransom. These aren't U.S. taxpayer dollars. And we haven't lifted a single one of our sanctions on Iran.
This morning, fallout from a deal made with Iran, one of America's biggest adversaries. $6 billion in frozen Iranian oil money and the release of 5 Iranians in U.S. custody for 5 Americans described as wrongfully detained. They include one man in jail for the past 8 years on highly criticized spy charges, a conservationist put in prison back in 2018, and a venture capitalist.
These Americans have been suffering a terrible ordeal. I think you all know that. Many of them were held in the Avon prison under ghastly conditions.
With a developing nuclear weapons program, Iran continues to be a threat. It's also supplied attack drones to Russia for its war against Ukraine and cracked down on protests by its own people. While the United States says the billions of sanction dollars it freed up can only be used for humanitarian purposes, criticism and concerns over the exchange have been swift. Republicans slamming it, with House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Michael McCaul calling the deal egregious, writing in a statement that the deal, quote, creates a direct incentive for America's adversaries to conduct future hostage-taking. But the National Security Council has pushed back against that sentiment.
I've heard the critics that somehow they're getting the better end of it. Ask the families of those 5 Americans who's getting the better end of it, and I think you'd get a different answer.
Representative Michael McCaul also criticized the timing of the deal, noting that it came just days before the 1-year anniversary of the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini, who died in police custody last year after allegedly violating Iran's strict dress code and whose death sparked nationwide protests. Guys.
Tom Dempsey, thanks so much. The American auto industry is on high alert this morning as the United Auto Workers Union is threatening to strike against the big three. You've got Ford Motors, GM, and also Stellantis. Now, if a deal is not reached by midnight, Union President Shawn Fain said more than 140,000 members across the country would be instructed to strike suddenly at, quote, strategic and targeted auto plants. This, a dark cloud hanging over what should be a time of celebration. You've got the 2023 North American International Auto Show. That is where we find our Kelsey Kernstein in Detroit, watching over both of these things. Kelsey, I imagine the mood there is interesting at this time.
You know, Markie, it's really getting down to the wire, just 15, 16 hours to reach an agreement. And here at the auto show, it is interesting to point out, it's been less about the big reveals, less about the biggest, newest cars soon to be on the market, and more about where are the profits going.
Across the U.S., Canada, Mexico, everywhere we go, we are having our best calendar year-to-date sales in our history.
General Motors touting record sales Wednesday at the 2023 Detroit Auto Show. United Auto Workers calling it a slap in the face as negotiations are ongoing with Ford, GM, and Stellantis.
We got to flip the script on its head and ask why these CEOs have, 3, 4 homes, private jets, and boats, but yet most American working class people can't even get by.
More than 140,000 workers across the country could walk off the job if a deal is not reached by midnight.
Everybody has a family. You've got kids, you've got grandkids, and this is all to help support them.
Hugh McKinney has been working for General Motors for more than 48 years. He says he's given his life to the job, just like his co-worker, Christopher Aldelian.
I've been here 40 years. I have 2 sons that work here, one for General Motors, one for Aramark, the third party.
These workers, like thousands of others, say they're proud of what they do, building cars for the American people, for what they call some of the best automakers in the world. But they say they feel shortchanged.
Basically, they're not bargaining in good faith, as far as we're concerned. Some of the issues that they've addressed, they really have offered us a pittance of what we're asking for.
The United Auto Workers are fighting for immediate double-digit wage increases, the elimination of tiered payment systems, and restoring cost of living allowance to fight against inflation. A 32-hour work week has also been discussed. The union president told members Wednesday night a deal doesn't look likely.
We are preparing to strike these companies in a way they've never seen before.
One of the big 3 automakers responding to the looming strike with a statement reading in part, "Our focus remains on bargaining in good faith to have a tentative agreement on the table before today's deadline. The future for our represented employees and their families deserve nothing less." But these workers say they won't back down for anything less than what they're asking for.
You only fight for the rights that you want to keep, and I want to keep all of them. So I've been ready. I've been staying ready, and I hope the rest of America will get ready with us so they can fight for their rights in their workplaces as well, because we all deserve dignity.
If a strike does take place, the union says this could be one of the biggest we have ever seen in the auto industry. And they're also using, if a strike takes place, they're using a gradual escalation process called a stand-up strike. It means that some of these workers, they'll go to the job on an expired contract, while some of them are going to take the picket lines.
Either way, Kelsey, they're saying that the automakers would definitely feel that punch. Kelsey Kernstein live for us this morning. Kelsey, thank you. Well, still ahead on Morning in America, another twist in the border buoy battle between Texas and the federal government. Why a judge is letting it stay and for how long.
And this man says he feels like he has a new lifelong friend after swimming all, get this, 315 miles of the Hudson River. The reason he decided to do that lengthy lap, coming up.
Morning in America is brought to you by Chase. Make more of what's yours.
Meet the team behind the team. The coach, the manager, and the snack dad, all using Chase to keep up with their finances. The coach helps save goals here because she saved for soccer camp there. And check this out. The manager deposited a check. Magic. And the snack dad, he's getting paid back. Orange slices.
Because this team all has Chase. Smart bankers, convenient tools, one bank with the power of both. Chase, make more of what's yours.
This is not just online scheduling. This is vaccines made easy for those who've got plans.
You didn't live this strong, this long to get put on the shelf like a porcelain doll. If you have postmenopausal osteoporosis and are at high risk for fracture, you can build new bone with Evenity. Ask your doctor if you can do more than just slowing down bone loss with Evenity. Want stronger bones? Then build new bone. Evenity can help in just 12 months. Evenity is proven to reduce spine fracture risk by 73%.
Evenity can increase risk of heart attack, stroke, or death from a cardiovascular problem. Do not take Evenity if you have low blood calcium or are allergic to it. Serious allergic reactions and low blood calcium have occurred. Tell your doctor about jawbone problems, as they have been reported with Evenity, or about pain in your hip, groin, or thigh, as unusual thigh bone fractures have occurred.
Don't let a break put you on a shelf. Talk to your doctor about building new bone with Evenity.
With Gold Bond, you can age on your own terms.
Retinol Overnight means the smoothing benefits of retinol are now for your whole body. Plus, fast-working crepe corrector diminishes wrinkled skin in just 2 days. Gold Bond, champion your skin.
Introducing new Starry Lemon Lime Soda. Music to my ears.
You don't have ears.
Starry, it's different. Dry skin is sensitive skin too, and it's natural. Treat it that way with Aveeno Daily Moisture. Formulated with nourishing prebiotic oat, it's clinically proven to moisturize dry skin for 24 hours. Aveeno.
I have type 2 diabetes, but I manage it well. It's a little pill with a big story to tell. I take once daily Jardiance at each day start. As time went on, it was easy to see I'm lowering my A1C.
Jardiance works 24/7 in your body to flush out some sugar. And for adults with type 2 diabetes and known heart disease, Jardiance can lower the risk of cardiovascular death too. Jardiance may cause serious side effects, including ketoacidosis that may be fatal, dehydration that can lead to a sudden worsening of kidney function, and genital yeast or urinary tract infections. A rare life-threatening bacterial infection in the skin of the perineum could occur. Stop taking Jardiance and call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of this infection, ketoacidosis, or an allergic reaction, and don't take it if you're on dialysis. Taking Jardiance with the sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar.
Jardiance is really swell, the little pill with the big story to tell.
Welcome back to Morning in America. Now to immigration. The borders and the buoys on the Rio Grande along the U.S.-Mexican border can remain in place, or at least that is for another 3 weeks.
This has become a bitter border buoy battle. That's when a federal appeals court hears the case for whether or not those buoys installed by Texas need to be permanently removed. And by the way, this is just the latest in a legal back and forth. Stephanie Haynes is live with where things go from here. Hey, Stephanie.
Hey, good morning. Bitter battle indeed. This legal fight is far from over. In fact, it was just last week a federal judge in Austin ruled that those buoys had to be out by tomorrow. But instead, 3 weeks from now, Governor Abbott's team will be back in court again, face to face with the federal government, who is suing to get those buoys out. A federal appeals court says it's okay for the Texas border buoys to remain in the Rio Grande for 3 more weeks, overruling a federal judge's order to remove them by September 15th, which came after the DOJ sued the state of Texas to get the buoys out. Texas Governor Greg Abbott originally ordered the 1,000-foot marine barrier be placed in the Rio Grande near Eagle Pass to curb what he calls an invasion at that part of the border.
And let me be clear, we are fully authorized by the Constitution of the United States of America to do exactly what we are doing, and that is to secure the border.
In his ruling last week, senior United States District Judge David Allen Ezra disagreed and ordered the buoys be removed, writing, quote, Texas's self-defense argument is unconvincing. He also pointed out Texas did not get approval from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to build such a structure in international waters. Governor Abbott immediately appealed, writing, quote, the buoys have nearly eliminated illegal crossings of people and drugs where they have been placed. The governor also asked for a pause on the order to remove the buoys. The feds responded, quote, a multi-day administrative stay threatens to delay Texas's preparatory work by, among other things, diminishing Texas's incentive to coordinate with the Corps. In the meantime, Governor Abbott faces another lawsuit in state court from a local kayak tour guide. Jesse Fuentes is suing because he claims the buoys hurt his business and the environment.
They're destroying the system that helps the land from eroding. They're creating obstacles in the middle of the river that's going to collect sediment and dust and debris.
Oral arguments are set for October 5th in the 5th Circuit Court of Appeals. That's in New Orleans. And Governor Greg Abbott maintains that he is willing to take this case all the way to the Supreme Court. Markie, Nick.
Okay, so the case continues. Stephanie Haynes, thanks so much. Well, coming up this morning, former VP Mike Pence taking center stage Wednesday night exclusively here on NewsNation, answering your questions live. We have an inside look at the town hall with the newest member of the NewsNation team. That's coming up next.
And a Mexican journalist representing his government with what he says is proof of alien life. We're talking with former UFO investigator about this wild video and the out-of-this-world claims.
I can't get over the remains, too. Plus, intense moments as an officer's quick thinking and fast action saves this baby's life. Hear why he says he was not about to give up. That's straight ahead.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I feel free to bare my skin, thanks to Skyrizi. Celebrating my clearer skin my way. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. In another study, most people had 90% clearer skin even at 5 years. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, had a vaccine, or plan to. Thanks to clearer skin with Skyrizi, this is my moment. There's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Now's the time. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
This is not just online scheduling. This is vaccines made easy for those who've got plans.
Original, never compromise. Nobody can mess with my copyright. Make it look easy and don't have to try it. Go and get it. Go and get it.
Have you heard? Sling TV offers the news you love for less. Wait, you look and sound just like me. Actually, I am you. Because I'm the same news programs on Sling for less. You mean you're me, but for less money? A lot less. I'm all your favorite news programs and more on Sling, starting at just $40 a month. Everything great about me, but for less money, which makes me greater, don't you think? It's the same news for less, starting at $40 a month. Sling.
If your vehicle isn't under warranty, it's almost like a ticking time bomb. Sooner or later, it's gonna break down, and you'll be stuck with a repair bill that could blow up your budget. Unless you have an auto protection plan from Everything Breaks. Our protection plans cover the expensive items that your auto insurance doesn't, like engine repairs, transmission, AC, computer systems, and more. Plus, our plans include 24/7 roadside assistance, free towing, free trip interruption, and free rental cars. Plans from other providers can cost between $100 to $200 per month. But with Everything Breaks, you can get the critical coverage that you need with plans starting at less than $1 a day. And if you call right now, your rates will be locked in, guaranteed. If your vehicle is out of warranty, call us now to get protected before it breaks down.
Call 1-800-374-4456, 1-800-374-4456.
Reigniting the conversation around lawmakers' age, Senator Mitt Romney says that he will not be seeking another term in office. I'm sure a lot of you saw this announcement yesterday on social media. And he wants to allow space for a new generation of leadership. And we hear from older Americans on exactly what they think there.
And the book containing the world's wildest, strangest, and biggest releases is new edition today. We're getting a sneak peek inside the 2024 Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah. And Terry the steer is rather large. We got to get to that too. And Knocking Out Cancer, an organization that uses competitive boxing to raise money and awareness for cancer research. And see how NewsNation's very own Kelly Meyer channeled her inner Rocky to fight the good fight. We have been waiting for this matchup for weeks now at this point.
And I understand that Kelly actually walks into negotiations for her contract wearing those blasters out. Anyway, here's a look at some of the other stories you may be talking about today. Here's what's in the mix. A California school district is agreeing to pay $27 million to settle a lawsuit by the family of a teen who died after being assaulted by two classmates. It happened 4 years ago. That 13-year-old Diego Stoltz fell and hit his head on a pillar at school during the beating and survived for a few days. Now, his family's attorney saying this is the largest bullying settlement in U.S. history.
Stay with me, Zaire. Stay with me.
Daddy, please don't stop breathing.
And these never get old when we see cops spring into action to save a baby or a person. These Tennessee officers performing chest compressions, saving the life of a 1-year-old boy. The baby's parents pulled over their car, flagged police, telling them, hey, the kid isn't breathing, help us. The officer saying, quote, I think I was there for that reason. And we do, too. You know, so glad that that baby is okay. He says he has a toddler at home, and he knew he couldn't give up on saving this little guy's life.
Our team was just talking. It feels like we've seen a lot more of these, you know, saves, these rescues,
Absolutely.
and close calls
I think people are
lately
much more comfortable coming
usual.
forward with some of these situations, too. Now to New York, where a 53-year-old man completed swimming all 315 miles of the Hudson River in a span of 1 month.
What?
Yeah, that's right. Known for doing other high-profile swims, Louis Pugh says he did this one to highlight the river and the importance of ecosystems. There's no way I would get in that Hudson. He says he feels like he's made a lifelong friend after getting to know the river. Congrats on the feat.
Yeah. I bet he's still sore.
I'm sure he is.
Thinking about him this morning.
A good shower is what he needs. And now a heartwarming story. Former NFL player Warrick Dunn surprised a Louisiana mom with a check for her dream home. He partnered with Habitat for Humanity and his alma mater, gifting that woman and her daughter with a $5,000 down payment check and $10,000 worth of furnishings. Wow. Dunn saying it's about doing our part to, quote, create a positive environment in our communities and wrap our arms around each other. And that is a beautiful home.
That just changed their world,
Absolutely.
Changed their life. So generous.
Well, former Vice President Mike Pence joined NewsNation Wednesday night for a town hall hosted by our own Leland Vittert. In it, he took questions on everything ranging from the economy to abortion to LGBTQ rights.
And Pence continues to trail his former running mate, Donald Trump, in the GOP primary, but is hoping to position himself as an alternative to the former president.
And for reaction to that town hall, we welcome in Connell McShane, the new host of NewsNation Now. He'll hop into the anchor chair beginning on September 25th. First off, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I was blown away by that open. We're going to do our show from New York, so we'll do the first one from the Hudson River. I'll swim from one side to the other.
Breaststroking.
We literally have reporters here who fight. Like, should I be afraid of tossing to Kelly?
This newsroom is
competitive. You should be.
Yes, it is. So get ready, brother.
No, I'm happy to be here. I'm excited. So.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so the town hall was interesting. Last night I watched the entire thing. I mean, to your point, Nick, when you have Mike Pence in there, you know what you're going to get. And I think for the most part, we got that last night. The people who admire the former vice president probably admire his consistency. The fact that, as he pointed out to Leland, he's been the same man for 30 years. So if you want someone who's conservative and Christian and Republican, as he talks about, that's Mike Pence. And that's what we saw
He's known for family values.
Yeah, that's who he is.
And also another moment that we wanted to play and replay back for the audience. You know, he talked a lot about government funding last night and how his own administration handled it and that his own party could have done a better job reining it in. Let's take a listen. Play this real quick.
Inflation was at a very reasonable pace during the 4 years of the Trump-Pence administration. It wasn't until Joe Biden became president with that Democrat Congress that they passed a $2 trillion spending bill, all in the name of COVID, that was completely unnecessary. I got to tell you.
So you're okay with the $3.4 trillion you spent?
No, I didn't say I was.
Okay.
You know, I'm a conservative, but I'm not in a bad mood about it. But
okay.
People that know my record in Congress and as governor know I'm a pretty tight-fisted fiscal conservative. I think we could have done a better job controlling domestic spending in this country.
That was the one interesting point, because I think if you're going to look at this big picture, you would say that Vice President Pence didn't really go after the person he's going to have to beat for the nomination, the former president, Donald Trump. But he did in that one moment start to go after the administration, which he was obviously a part of, saying that as vice president, he didn't support all the spending. And, that's a fair criticism of Republicans, just objectively, if you look at it. They've always been, for years, the party that tries to rein in spending. Mm-hmm. But in that administration, that really wasn't the case. And the former vice president did point that out, at least that in that moment last night.
And how do you think that played for viewers when you stand up there on that town hall stage and you say, yeah, we didn't do the best job? Well, then why are people going to vote for you? Moderates, undecideds, who haven't made up their mind yet? I mean,
well, that's why
how do you think that played?
That's why being vice president is always one of the more it's a very difficult position to be in politically, especially when you run for president, because you're running on a record that isn't entirely yours. And former Vice President Pence talked about that last night, how he thought his job was to stand by President Trump. And I think that brings up the next point, which is if he's going to move, right, if you just look at it from where he is in the polls, I mean, he hasn't moved very far yet, maybe around 5%. You would think he's going to have to go after the former president. When he was asked by Leland why he's running for president, he didn't really do that. It was a long answer about policy, when we all know, if we're just looking at it, take a step back, why is Mike Pence running for president? January 6th is the real reason he's running for president. He was side by side with President Trump until that date. And after that mob rushed into the Capitol and there were people literally chanting, "Hang Mike Pence," that's the break between Donald Trump and Mike Pence. But we didn't hear much about that. And, I'm sure there are strategic reasons for that, but we haven't heard much about it at all from Vice President Pence yet.
Mr. Pence saying that he was with Mr. Trump until he decided to defend the Constitution.
Which he did. I mean, but he doesn't talk a lot about that in his campaign. He talks about it a little bit when he's asked by someone like us directly. Yes, he will talk about that, but he hasn't made it a centerpiece of his campaign. I would think the strategy behind that is that in a Republican primary, he doesn't think it plays very well. But again, if you're at 5%, nothing is playing very well right now. You might have to take some bigger swings at some point.
Colin, before we go, tell us about the new show.
Well, it's going to be an extension, I think, of what you guys have been building. I mean, we're all here for a reason, right? We all came here because of what NewsNation is trying to put together, which is something I think that's unique, especially in cable news. So we like to think it's going to be fast-paced, certainly fact-based, and we have a terrific team we've been putting together over the last couple of weeks. We're going to get back to New York next week and start working on. So, give it a shot. It's going to be a lot of what has already being built here, and I think hopefully we can add to that. Great people here, by the way.
And for those at home on social media asking, are you 12 years old? You're not.
I love that.
Who's asking
12
that?
12 years old.
No.
Man, that's a compliment of the week. We're probably like the same
I need to know what skincare you're using. Yeah, but I love
that.
seeing you in your NewsNation swag the other night, saying I finally found a place that aligns with
Totally, 100%. Yeah, it's like we do this, and I guess for a 12-year-old, I haven't been doing it for a little bit of time. You want to be in a place which I think we've all found now that kind of aligns with what your values are. And that's the same reason an audience would come here and watch NewsNation is the same reason I'm here. I think the same reason we're all here. So, let's get going. Let's have some fun.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah,
we're happy to have you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we're so excited to tune in. Connell McShane, everybody. Well, more to come on Morning in America. Today, the book spotlighting the biggest, the strangest, the most everything. It's going to be released. Up next, we're talking to the editor-in-chief of the Guinness Book of World Records to get a preview at what amazing talent will be debuted in the 2024 edition.
Here's why you should switch from Google to DuckDuckGo on all your devices. DuckDuckGo comes with a built-in search engine, but it doesn't spy on your searches. And our browser blocks creepy ads that follow you around from Google and other companies. And it's free. Download DuckDuckGo today.
This is not just online scheduling. This is vaccines made easy for those who've got plans.
The right age for Neutrogena retinol? That's whenever you want it to be.
It has derm-proven retinol
That targets vital cell turnover, even skin tone,
and smooths fine lines with visible results in just 1 week. Neutrogena retinol.
Asthma isn't pretty. It's the moment when you realize that a good day is about to become a bad one. But then I remembered that the world is so much bigger than that with Trelegy, because 1 dose a day helps keep my asthma symptoms under control. And with 3 medicines and 1 inhaler, Trelegy helps improve lung function so I can breathe easier for a full 24 hours.
Trelegy won't replace a rescue inhaler for sudden breathing problems. Trelegy contains a medicine that increases risk of hospitalizations and death from asthma problems when used alone. When this medicine is used with an inhaled corticosteroid, like in Trelegy, there is not a significant increased risk of these events. Do not take Trelegy more than prescribed. Trelegy may increase risk of thrush and infections. Get emergency care for serious allergic reactions. See your doctor if your asthma does not improve or gets worse.
What a wonderful world. Ask your doctor about once daily Trelegy for asthma, because breathing should be beautiful.
Internet without malicious websites. Without malware-ridden files. Zen. Be more cyber zen. Get NordVPN.
Are you feeling like you've lost your edge? That your energy level has dropped? And you're less interested in doing the things that make you a man? Then you need Rut Testosterone Booster from Bucked Up. It's a fact that men's testosterone levels start to drop as we get older. But Rut is the natural way to regain your edge and get back to feeling like a man. Rut's testosterone boosting formula kickstarts energy levels, fuels strength, stamina, and lean muscle growth. Rut is flying off the shelves at GNC and Vitamin Shop, but you can get a free bottle by texting right now.
I'm telling you, Rut has been an absolute game changer for me. I've got more energy, more drive. I'm feeling better than I did in my 20s.
As a former pro athlete, I'm always looking for an edge. Whether it's more effective workouts, or better recovery, or even staying alert and focused during meetings, Rut definitely gives me that advantage.
Get your free bottle by texting GAME to 312-345.
All right, welcome back to Morning in America. Thousands of people who have out-of-this-world talent strive to make it into one of the most recognized books in the world. You'll see everything from the strongest to the strangest to unique talents you've never witnessed. And you can find it compiled in one place, the Guinness Book of World Records, the new 2024 edition of which launches today. Here to give us a sneak peek is the editor-in-chief, Craig Glenday. Craig, today is the global launch for next year's book. What are some of the most exceptional entries you can tell us about here on Morning in America?
Well, I have to say thank you to our American record claimants, because we have some fantastic records this year. We have a new largest afro. This is from Amir Menendez of California. This is an afro which it's so big. If you imagine this, it's, around here, it's 8 to 8 inches. It's like over 7 foot in circumference of hair. We have another hair record. Tammy Manis of Knoxville is the first person ever to hold a record for having the longest mullet. So the mullet hairstyle has become very fashionable again. And she appears in the book, which her mullet is 5 foot 8 inches in length. The male record is only 3.3 foot in length. So, but this is a new category. Here is some of the great animals we have. This is from our animal section, Tommy the steer, one of our favorite record holders. I mean, look at the size of it. This is a beautiful, purebred alpine dairy cow who is the most gentle, sweetest soul. And in fact, has become a family pet, so he's not being used on the farm for anything. Just looked after by the family.
He
enormous.
Is absolutely giant. I'm looking at him. So 6'1" is his height.
6'1". That's to the withers. Yes, the average of 3 measurements taken by a vet. You measure from the floor to the withers, which is the shoulders. Yeah, 6'1". So what a beast! But the gentlest of giants. Eats 100 pounds of food a day, not including all the apples. He's learned to headbutt the local apple trees. And as he headbutts the trees, they get showered in apples, and he eats even more. So he's a beautiful creature, isn't he?
Craig, one of the more extraordinary talents is the equestrian gymnast. Explain to us what she's doing, because we want to watch this video.
Oh yeah, this is Amanda Stalso of Denmark. This is new to me, this sport, but it's called equestrian vaulting. And basically you have a limited number of seconds in which to basically do as many gymnastic moves as possible. Here is one, she's doing standing jumps. You get 30 seconds to do standing jumps. She managed 13 in 30 seconds. And also scissoring. So you do a scissor transition where you switch your legs backwards and forwards either side of the horse. So what's great is that this is a brand new sport for us. We've never mentioned equestrian vaulting before, but it's such a dramatic and exciting new sport. We just had to have it in the book.
I don't even want to know what practicing that sport is like, particularly for guys who may be interested in it. Craig Glenday, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And we know that you can pick up a copy of the 2024 Guinness Book of World Records online or in stores starting today. Well, still ahead this morning, Senator Mitt Romney's announcement highlighting recent polling that Americans are concerned about politicians' ages. We ask older Americans their thoughts on whether you can be too old to hold office. And a 1-2 punch to fight cancer. Look at her. She's coming up. That's our own Kelly Meyer. She will be hitting it. She's the Beltway boxer. That's what we're calling it. She steps into the ring to raise money and awareness for a cause that hits very close to home. She'll join us live. You're watching Morning in America, news for all America.
It's been more than a month since Rachel Morin's brutal murder, with her killer still at large. Tonight, Dan Abrams talks with her family's attorney on their fight for justice, why they're turning to the internet in hopes of a new lead. Tonight on Dan Abrams Live.
This is not just online scheduling. This is vaccines made easy for those who've got plans.
Here's why you should switch from Google to DuckDuckGo on all your devices. DuckDuckGo comes with a built-in search engine, but it doesn't spy on your searches. And our browser blocks creepy ads that follow you around from Google and other companies. And it's free. Download DuckDuckGo today.
My mental health was much better, but I struggled with uncontrollable movements called TD, tardive dyskinesia. TD can be caused by some mental health meds.
And it's unlikely to improve without treatment. I felt like my movements were in the spotlight.
Ingrezza is a prescription medicine to treat adults with TD movements. Ingrezza is different. It's the simple, once-daily treatment proven to reduce TD that's #1 prescribed. People taking Ingrezza can stay on their current dose of most mental health meds. Ingrezza 80 milligram is proven to reduce TD movements in 7 out of 10 people. Don't take Ingrezza if you're allergic to any of its ingredients. Ingrezza may cause serious side effects, including sleepiness. Don't drive, operate heavy machinery, or do other dangerous activities until you know how Ingrezza affects you. Other serious side effects include potential heart rhythm problems and abnormal movements.
It's nice. People focus more on me.
Ask your doctor about #1 prescribed once daily Ingrezza. Learn how you could pay as little as $0 at Ingrezza.com.
I'm not just accomplished, I am accomplishing. So I'm doing all I can to help lower my risk of breaking a bone.
For postmenopausal women with osteoporosis at high risk for fracture, taking calcium and vitamin D may not be enough. Adding Prolia is proven to help strengthen bones and reduce spine fracture risk by 68% with 1 shot every 6 months. Do not take Prolia if you have low blood calcium, are pregnant, are allergic to it, or take Xgeva. Serious allergic reactions like low blood pressure, trouble breathing, throat tightness, face, lip, or tongue swelling, rash, itching, or hives have happened. Tell your doctor about dental problems, as severe jawbone problems may happen with Prolia, or about pain in your hip, groin, or thigh, as unusual thigh bone fractures have occurred. Talk to your doctor before stopping, skipping, or delaying Prolia, as spine and other fractures have occurred. Serious side effects like low blood calcium, serious infections which could need hospitalization, skin problems, and severe bone, joint, or muscle pain have occurred.
I have so much more to accomplish.
Talk to your doctor about Prolia.
The Live Golf League hits Chicago.
What a shot.
Where Cam Smith looks to hold off Taylor Gooch and the rest of the field.
So lock in and don't blink.
Live Golf Chicago. Watch live starting September 22nd through the 24th on the CW.
If your vehicle isn't under warranty, it's almost like a ticking time bomb. Sooner or later, it's going to break down, and you'll be stuck with a repair bill that could blow up your budget. Unless you have an auto protection plan from Everything Breaks. Our protection plans cover the expensive items that your auto insurance doesn't, like engine repairs, transmission, AC, computer systems, and more. Plus, our plans include 24/7 roadside assistance, free towing, free trip interruption, and free rental cars. Plans from other providers can cost between $100 to $200 per month. But with Everything Breaks, you can get the critical coverage that you need with plans starting at less than $1 a day. And if you call right now, your rates will be locked in, guaranteed. If your vehicle is out of warranty, call us now to get protected before it breaks down.
Call 1-800-374-4456, 1-800-374-4456.
Welcome back to Morning in America. Utah Senator Mitt Romney says he will not seek another term, saying it's time for a new generation.
The Utah Republican would be in his 80s by the time he left office if he were to be reelected. Romney's announcement furthers discussions about the age of our elected officials. So, how old is too old to hold office? Xavier Walton is in Florida, where more than 20% of the population is over the age of 65. Xavier, you spoke with some older Americans, and they had a few things to tell you.
Markie, they had plenty to say. You know how it is when you're talking to older folks. They will talk your ear off quite literally. In reference to this story, though, different opinions, but all sharing the same thought. Age is nothing but a number. And when it comes to that, in this story, it's different for every person.
If you can prove that it's in a sound mind, there's no problem with the age.
President Biden, former President Donald Trump, Nancy Pelosi, and Mitch McConnell are all over the age of 75, but their ages don't represent many of their constituents.
The average American is about 40 years old, and only about 5% of Congress is. So clearly, this is an issue that's top of mind for many Americans as we go into the new election cycle.
In a recent NewsNation Decision Desk HQ poll, 80% said they were worried about how President Biden's age could impact his ability to do his job. 63% said the same thing about former President Trump.
There are changes that occur. Our brain shrinks. I know that sounds a bit alarming, but that's a process that happens. It starts in our 30s and 40s. By the time we're in our 80s, we've lost about a tenth of the size of our brain.
But among older Americans, opinions are mixed about age and lawmakers.
I think people's aging varies. Some people are old at 60 and some are old at 85.
Some people age and you wouldn't know how old they are by their brain. Looks, yes, but not by their brain.
The answer to me is no. There should be no restrictions. I'm personally 96. I don't plan to run for anything, but I have no limitations on top people running as long as they're qualified.
And experts say, you know what? Not everyone has cognitive impairment in their 80s and 90s. That gentleman there, 96 years old on a bicycle. Meantime, we did reach out to several elected officials to see if they had any comment about this story. None actually got back to us, aside from Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who said if the founders could go back and do it again, there would be age limits on some of these offices. But Markie, definitely a topic that a lot of people are going to continue to talk about.
Yeah, and if that 96-year-old did decide to run for office, he just might get my vote. Xavier Walton, thanks so much. Great story. Well, coming up, Texas Senator Ted Cruz joins Morning in America, and he shares his reaction to our exclusive town hall with former Vice President Mike Pence and his opinions on the Republican presidential race so far. More news for All America straight ahead.
Oh, what a good time we will have. You can make it happen again.
Now try new dietary supplements from Voltaren for healthy joints.
This is not just online scheduling. This is vaccines made easy for those who've got plans.
Here's why you should switch from Google to DuckDuckGo on all your devices. DuckDuckGo comes with a built-in search engine, but it doesn't spy on your searches. And our browser blocks creepy ads that follow you around from Google and other companies. And it's free. Download DuckDuckGo today.
I've always been prone to hair thinning.
I was getting older. I was under a lot of stress.
I started taking Nutrafol.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement.
I am back to me.
Start your hair growth journey at Nutrafol.com.
For 12 years, for 4,383 sunrises, across millions of mornings, we've been working to make one thing better. This
a science-driven formulation to support whole body, brain, and gut health. Start at drinkag1.com.
Internet without trackers. Without malware-ridden files. Zen. Be more cyber zen. Get NordVPN.
With thyroid eye disease, I hid from the camera, and I wanted to hide from the world. For years, I thought my TED was beyond help. But then, I asked my doctor about Tepezza.
Tepezza is the only medicine that treats TED at the source, not just the symptoms. In a clinical study, more than 8 out of 10 patients taking Tepezza had less eye bulging. Tepezza is an infusion. Patients taking Tepezza may have infusion reactions. Tell your doctor right away if you experience high blood pressure, fast heartbeat, shortness of breath, or muscle pain. Before getting Tepezza, tell your doctor if you have diabetes, IBD, or are pregnant or planning to become pregnant. Tepezza may raise blood sugar even if you don't have diabetes and may worsen IBD such as Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis.
Now, I'm ready to be seen again.
Visit mytepezza.com to find a TED eye specialist and to see Bridget's before and after photos.
Look at you. You're doing everything you can to get your blood pressure in check. You're exercising, you're eating right, and now you have Superbeats Heart Chews on your side too. Paired with a healthy lifestyle, Superbeats Heart Chews polyphenol compound is 2 times more effective at promoting normal blood pressure, which means more energy, better circulation, and blood pressure support that is easy and convenient. In a leading clinical study, Superbeats Heart Chews polyphenol compound was shown nearly 2 times as effective at promoting normal blood pressure as a healthy lifestyle alone. So double your potential with Superbeats Heart Chews. Just 2 delicious pomegranate berry chews a day support nitric oxide production, healthy blood pressure, blood flow, and heart-healthy energy. Plus, they're plant-based and gluten-free. What are you waiting for? Become unstoppable and support your healthy blood pressure with Superbeats Heart Chews. Find out how to get a free 30-day supply plus free shipping with your first order at superbeatschews.com.
Good morning, guys. Cancer is a 6-letter word no one ever wants to hear, especially when it hits close to home.
And Haymakers for Hope is a charity organization giving people the opportunity to fight back. Literally. They are hosting competitive boxing matches to raise money for cancer research. And our own Kelly Meyer traded in her mic for boxing gloves on Wednesday night. She joins us now with this fight for her. It was also very personal. Kelly, I feel like we have all been in the ring with you for weeks leading up to your big match. How are you feeling this morning and how did it go?
Thank you guys for doing this morning and your support throughout this entire summer. It's been amazing. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling so grateful for all the support and a little jello-y in my arms right now. I'm watching this footage back for the first time. It's like I've never thought I would do anything like this, you guys. So to be out there, this is crazy to see. I just kind of blacked out and went for it and just gave it my all. And it was just an incredible experience.
Kelly, we were talking about Haymakers for Hope is a charity. It's a 501c. It's a nonprofit. And you fought in honor of your stepdad, Tom, who is currently battling multiple myeloma. Can you talk to us more about that? Because I know that sometimes sharing the personal side of things can be tough for a reporter.
Yeah. You don't want to become the story, right? And I want to keep the focus on how great this organization is and everybody that's out there fighting cancer but being able to share my story of what our family has been going through for the last 10 years, really. My stepdad's been fighting multiple myeloma for the last 10 years. He found out it's a rare bone cancer, and he found out he was washing my car one day in the fall of 2013 and felt something in his neck, and he went to Johns Hopkins, the hospital that we raised these funds for, and had to have a surgery, and found out that he had multiple myeloma from that. And he's been fighting it ever since, chemo, hydration every week. You just kind of keep pushing forward as we do day to day, and he does too, and you wouldn't know he's fighting this. He always puts on a brave face. So he was my inspiration for this. When I got towards the end of that match, it felt long, and I saw his name, and at the end I just gave him a big hug and just cried. It was all all for him.
Yeah, I know it's so emotional. We're thinking of your stepdad. He's so lucky to have a stepdaughter, an advocate, a fighter in you, in the family. Had you ever boxed before? And are you going to keep on at it after the match?
I am. You know, I feel like Rocky, I keep saying this morning. He didn't win his first fight, but, you know, and Adrienne's not there for me to say, yo, Adrienne, it's Rocky. And we could get you guys in the ring next time. Let's do some haymakers for hope for NewsNation one more time. Let's keep it up. I think Leland should go out there.
Yeah, I did some uppercuts and some jabs on my Peloton yesterday, just for you, in solidarity of you, Kelly Meyer. Thanks so much. You're the best, and congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
For more information on future events, go to haymakersforhope.org. Pretty cool. Well, still a lot of big headlines to get to right here on Morning in America. Our next hour starts now.
This morning, new reaction to former Vice President Mike Pence's exclusive town hall with NewsNation.
I think we're involved in a very important debate about the future of the Republican Party and about the future of the country. I look at my competitors, my former running mate, others that have stepped forward, and I hear them walking away from some of those same timeless conservative principles.
Today, Congressman Ted Cruz is with us live, answering those questions about the future of the Republican Party and the race for president.
When they're ready to get serious, we're ready.
Happening right now, the United Auto Workers Union is ready to strike at the stroke of midnight. With time running out, where negotiations stand with America's car makers and one of the most powerful United States unions.
Boosters in ignition.
And today, NASA releases a new report about UFOs, just days after a Mexican scientist released this video of so-called non-human beings. A former defense official who investigated aliens for the UK joins us live, examining whether or not